Yo, yo. All right. I think we are good to go. Audio and video looking good, I suppose. Yo, testing. Just want to make sure the scenes them decent. Welcome, gentle people. Shinju here. Two Blue Vortex, Boruto, of course, chapter 34. Let's see. How are we looking? Audio and video check. Just making sure everything is Gucci for the most part. Let me know. 4 of you here. I think everything should be fine. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's doing great. I don't know how it's set. Another month, another chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. And yo, I mean, we did end the last chapter on an interesting note. The man, the myth, the legend, Code! Well, I don't feel like I clip too much. Yeah, but Code, the man, yo, is back in action. And having a, you know, kind of a fresh cover page here with the fits. You know, this is a big deal, you know, because given the way that things have been going with Mamushi, with the previous Shinju, and the fact that we're kind of counting down literally when it comes down to the amount of antagonists that are left, it feels like it's the right time for Code to actually make an appearance. I'm just hoping Ikimoto has cracked the code to finally give this man like a W, because I think it would be of benefit to the story right now, making it much more dynamic. honestly, yo. I hope everyone's doing great. You know what I just realized? Because I think I mentioned it like a few years back, maybe 2 years ago. Like, my channel is out of the YouTube partner program, but I should probably start pinning it in chat if anybody wants to do the quote-unquote super chats. I forgot that I had like Streamlabs as an option, as a quote-unquote pseudo super chat or tipping option. So I'll probably drop that. I mean, even though I think the link should still be in the description, should still work. So yeah. 1 second. Let's see. Anyway, I'm gonna silence Discord a bit, and then we should be good to go. All right, let's get into it. I think I've rambled on enough. Chapter 34 and title Used to It. Used to the L's, I suppose. Am I still here in Discord? Anyway. Alright, so we finally beat Mamushi. We have Boruto here holding his Thorn Soul Bulb. Rot away? What do you mean by the thorn bulb rotting away? It's exactly as I said. If you don't do anything, they'll rot within minutes. And the one turned into a tree, as in the person that Divine Tree was modeled on, will die. Okay, interesting. Inojin! I'm so glad you're awake. Guess he doesn't lose his eyes like we were kind of predicting he would. Becoming like a daredevil-like shinobi, eh? Himawari. Got this man blushing here. Inojin, your eyes, are they okay? Yeah, I can see just fine. Thanks to Himawari healing them right away. Yo, she'll probably come to eventually. But let's take her to the hospital. Master Konohamaru. Am I still here in Discord? Okay. In there. Alright, Chocho coming in the hospital, right? I'll go with you. Big sis, are you hurt? No, I'm okay. Thanks to your protection. Yeah, this man feel good about himself though. Man, you're getting overwhelmed for a bit there, Damon. Let's not forget that fact. 1 second as well. Put the chat here. Okay, cool. Let me just close Discord for now. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright. Ada looking at Kawaki. Thing is like her again, you're in love, quote unquote, but you're putting two and two together. I'm sure this is a oh Kawaki didn't check on me type of scene. Anyway, caution Koji via the frog. In the end, Code didn't show up. I thought he might take advantage of the chaos of battle, but the divine trees all have claw marks on them, so I'm sure that bastard had his ear to the ground. Most likely. Which means we should assume he knows Mamushi is dead. Don't forget Boruto. He's biding his time to kill you. Wait, see me now? Oh, go on. Millennium. Out on a boat. Welcome everyone. Welcome. How is everyone doing? Of course, like up the stream naturally, cause why not? What's up? I haven't seen him. Really? Weren't you in last stream? Or call me crazy. Maybe I'm not remembering properly, but I could have sworn you were in the last stream. I mean, I'm not really too far in. I'm too crazy. The only critique I have so far, observation when it comes on to characters, like this scene here with Ada looking at Kawaki, which is the oh Kawaki, don't diss me type of vibe I'm getting. Alright, that's the impression I get from just these few panels here of her just looking at Kawaki. So far nothing too crazy. It's alright. If you go alone to bug with that thorn bulb, I can almost guarantee that Code will show himself. I know this is going to be the next interesting thing, right? Because I know when it came on to the start of 2 Blue Vortex, Boruto, all of us kind of have the impression that Boruto is way above Code. And I think it would make sense for him to be. But there's also the argument you could probably put forward that, he mainly won because of the Rasengan Uzuhiko. If it was a case that maybe he had to fight him without it, the fight would look more evenly matched, quote unquote. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's my stance, but I'm just saying that's one argument you could probably put forward. Hey Millennium, yeah man, I'm not too bad. I'm actually pretty hungry here, to be honest. I'm not lie, the youths them hungry. Yeah, yo, listen, I understand in terms of the busyness, because it's like I tell some people now, if I really fully lock in and do everything that I'm supposed to do, are supposed to be doing between work, YouTube, side projects, trying to learn stuff, etc., I don't think I even have time for myself, fam. To be honest. Yo, wait, nothing feed all day. No, that's crazy. I mean, I'll lunch at least, So you probably need to kind of warm up with some hot cocoa or some tea or something with a Subway sandwich or something, or raid the kitchen. Something. Anyway, let me continue for now. Oh, 1 second. Let me just pin something in chat. Because one thing, as I was telling the guys here in the stream before some of you came in, is that, yeah, funny enough, my Sanjay Uchiha is no longer in the YouTube partner program, so you guys don't really have an option to, if, obviously it's not mandatory, obviously not, but if it's a case you wanted to do quote-unquote super chats, then we could do it via Streamlabs, essentially. I believe it should work. I think I tried it once in the past, so I think I'll probably just pin it. Yeah. I should have made it a message pinned. But sorry, I feel like it's underappreciated. think you would like it more if you reread it in the future. I mean, it could be that case at the last arc. I mean, I don't have like a massive problem with the last arc, you know. My main gripes with the last arc is really Mamushi himself. It's kind of like a 50-50 thing too, even with my complaints, my problems with Mamushi in that arc. But outside of that, I'm probably some, you know, questionable, you know, that thin line type of power scaling where it's like a very thin line between this being bullshit and this actually making sense. But other than that, I thought the last arc was decent. Can't complain too much. Can't complain too much. Welcome, welcome, people. Welcome to the stream. Respect for the support. Let me know what you think if you read the chapter, but no spoilers just yet. Anyway, if you go alone to bug with that thorn bulb, I can almost guarantee that Code will show himself. Wait, Millennium? Alright. Respect, bro. Respect. Much appreciated. Shout out to you, man. So I remember you wanted that arc to include in the past few streams. Yeah, like I think what it was really and truly, Mamushi was starting to become kind of. It's kind of like I keep quoting him. So shout out to Afro Senju, but he made a comment on Momoshiki back in the day when episode 65 came out. In his reaction to that episode, when he was saying like Momoshiki seems simultaneously ass and threatening at the same time. And that's like the vibe I've been getting when it comes on to a lot of the Shinju, Mamushi included. So I'm like, yeah, need to kind of move past this. And even beyond that, I was like, yo, need to kind of get past even the Shinju. Because again, even Mello, shout out to you, Mello, if you're even passing through. Mello was saying that it feels like these guys are more like a training, like a stepping stone for our heroes, really and truly. I haven't been reading to it for about a year, so I'm going to go back and read from scratch now that I've built it up. Okay, makes sense. Sounds like a solid plan there. Hold on, I was supposed to check one thing. I feel like I'm all over the place here. Boy. That. One thing. Alright, let me continue because even though I don't mind going back and forth with you guys. Of course, guys, remember to like up the stream. I respect and appreciate all the support naturally. The Streamlabs link is there if you want to post like a super chat, quote unquote, since my channel is no longer in the YouTube partner program. I have Streamlabs up, so even though it disappears off the screen, I can always go back and read what you have to say or ask as well. So yeah, anyway, I can almost guarantee that Ko will show himself. It's a most advantageous location for him, since there's little chance of you getting back up. He won't let this chance slip away. Many futures share this in common. The battle against Mamushi changed destiny again, but given his motives, it would be more unnatural for Code not to appear. And then, what happens after that? There are 3 broad outcome categories. The first, you kill him. Okay, nice. That's the most ideal option. Since we have trouble pinpointing his whereabouts, it'd be big if we could just eliminate him now. The second, Code runs off after deciding he has little chance of winning against you. And thereafter, he goes after Sarada. What? He'll take her to the Divine Trees as a bargaining chip, knowing that she could be used as bait to lure you with. Okay, interesting. And the third is something completely different. That is possible now that I've told you about the first 2. Yo, it really is true though. You kind of destroy the future as you or create new futures as you go along. The whole shattering the future thing. And see Boruto mentions it as well here. Just so you know, there's a possibility that he washes his hands of the Divine Trees and instead throws in with us. Though, the likelihood of that is almost nil. So if you're able to kill him, let's remove a source of anxiety. We're out of time to think. That's interesting. Cool, potentially joins. And even though I was kind of earlier, even though I was throwing out the whole, if Boruto didn't have Rasengan Uzi, he could probably You know, you could make an argument that the fight would be more even, but I guess this kind of somewhat confirms it. But of course, I imagine these predictions, well, these potential futures that Koji is seeing now is still based on, of course, him having Uzuhiko anyway. So, yeah. Coming to the chat, I'm coming. They're out of time to think. That was brilliant, Inajin. You can keep your hair for now. Gone. Boruto. Kawaki. It's me, Amado. Does everybody have like a like a frog as their walkie-talkie, as their speakers, bro? That's actually funny. Hope somebody calls that. I was like, yo, we can use other stuff, fam. Huh? Could you swing by my lab? I want to talk. Alright. Yeah, the Karma Trio would be crazy. So Boruto arrives. Okay, so one of his stuff was still there. Makes sense. Alright. Woo! Alright, Karma! Yo! Boruto, you fool. Coming here to save Bug to whom you have no ties or obligations. I thought you might come though, because that's the kind of guy you are. Now come closer, you poser hero. I'll end you in an instant by slashing your throat. Alright. I imagine he's just going to like, well, no, he can't really absorb the claw marks because it still has actual, someone coats blood in it. Alright, Sarada wakes up. If you mean Mamushi, you can relax. It's over with and we're all okay. Chocho. Yo. Here, your glasses. How many fingers can you see? Okay. Got that fuzzy vision. The prescription no longer fits. Your vision's deteriorated significantly. It's a risk inherent to the Mangekyo Sharingan. Your sight worsens the more you use it. There's some variability depending on the jutsu's nature and usage circumstances, but regardless, if you keep using it, you'll eventually go completely blind. What? Mom, I'm sorry. Even so, I still... Okay, nice. Love the mother-daughter moment. You guys know this about me already, right? I am craving, begging to have legacy characters have more panel time in this story, in the manga at least, because it just feels the lack of them in the manga makes it feel sterile, if you get what I mean. Like, it makes it feel like we didn't already have an established world of people and characters. One example is that, okay, Naruto is quote unquote dead, the hero of the war, right? The hero of the world, and you don't really get any time to kind of soak in or see the reactions of other characters to make it more believable or kind of get more emotionally invested with what these characters could potentially go through. Like, it's like it makes it feel like there wasn't already established world of characters that were built up, and you know, it just feels kind of sterile. So that's one thing I don't particularly like when it comes on to the manga, even though I know historically speaking the manga has always kind of focused on kind of just focus on a certain set of characters, you know. Yeah, so I definitely like this, because I think before you'd only probably get 2 or 3 panels of Sakura and then that's it. So this is nice. I know I won't tell you to stop, cause it's something, a strength that you yourself brought into being when you deemed you needed power in order to do and protect what you wanted to. Alright, Sakura, I like it. So long as you're aware and resolved, I'm cool with it. I won't interfere. Mom, you want to help Boruto, right? Alright. Yeesh. You truly are my child. To be willing to cast everything else aside, all for the sake of a single boy. Wow, we know, Sakura, we know. You're also like your dad, always going up against something massive, no matter how bad the personal toll is. his big brother too. Oh, we got Itachi references. Hey, yo, okay, this chapter is getting a little, I like it. I like it because I think it would be a good thing to have like Sarada interface more with her history and let us, the readers, kind of see how Ikimoto would navigate her learning about it and know the past so you can plan for the future type of deal. So that would be nice, little Itachi reference. Just know this, Sarada. I will always believe in you and your dad, no matter what. I mean, this is all nice and all, Sakura, but do we have a suggestion to help with the blindness? That would be nice. Besides, I'm used to it. To being lectured to about my family. Excuse me, Master Sakura. About that patient in room 8. Apologies, I'll be right there. Sarada? Yes? Wait, well, I'm very confused. Jolt? Yes? Oh yeah! Is this Kool-Aid guy? I'm very confused right now. Yo. I've always wondered what's that supposed to mean. I'm actually not sure myself. However, it really fires me up. Okay. I do like that, she's, putting on. I don't want to say pretend, but I still like the nuance of the fact that at the end of the day, her understanding, what has been passed on to her daughter from herself and, Sasuke respectively, appreciating that, respecting that, but still having the nuance to show that she's still a mother, still a parent now at the end of the day. So that's a nice touch. Definitely like it. It really fires me up. Sarada, it's been bothering me forever why you were so desperately championing a traitor like Boruto instead of your previous best bud Kawaki. But after fighting side by side with him, this time, I realized that in terms of battling for Konoha, Boruto is legit. Okay, Chocho, we like it. And he's really hot. Okay. I can totally see it now. Huh? That's not Kawaki too. It's still a mystery to me when he became such a baddie. And he looks nothing like Lord Seventh. But never mind that. So happy to be able to make small talk with you again. It's been an eternity. You too, class rep. How you been? Yo, Chocho, the comedy, bro. It's ridiculous. It's Sumeri, not class rep. Huh? Sumeri? What? Nah, they are throwing me off with these with these panels, bro. Ikimoto, what are you doing? The heck? Super radical personality shift. I mean, like, insane. What happened? You don't like it? I know, this is also because of Sora's Mangekyo, isn't it? What kind of logic is that? Yo, what is going on with the characters, bro? Alright, back to Boruto. Alright. Boruto have the Byakugan anyway. Uzuhiko already charged. Uzuhiko. Alright. Did he come out of the way? Yeah, dodged. Shrewd bastard. Not only anticipating my ambush, but also having a counter prepared. Good to see you looking well, but our ambush seems awfully passive, Code. Well, come at me. You've only missed once so far. Be more confident. Shut up, you fake. Only an idiot fall for that. Then what's your grand plan, eh? How do you intend to kill me? If you're so scared. How, you ask? You'll see soon enough. Ooh, well, I'm just realized, say, his, I guess, say, Jura, it was Jura, right? Yeah, Jura shut off his arm. Well, his hand, really. He ran off. That taunting was a bit excessive. Yeah, dog. Sorry, old man. I was too... Oh, really? That's... Shit. Don't fret. Remember, he wasn't a good guy. Just let this be seared into your memory. What it looks like when a soul burns out. Oh, shit. The man... Ikimoto actually killed Bug. That's crazy. Um, that's interesting. Not that Bug was a beloved character or anything, but at the same time, um, I kind of like it in the sense that there's so many nuances and questions that we have when it comes on to karma. And what if they do this? What if they do that? What if this happens? What if you carry the thorn soul bowl back to the tree? What if you don't carry it back into the tree? Can you use it for something else? Yada yada. So this at least kind of establishes stakes when it comes on to, you know, rescuing the persons that are in the tree as another layer of, even if we beat these persons, if we can't get to them in time, then it doesn't make sense. So you'll have to, I mean, flying Raijin in terms of Boruto, in Boruto's case, is one option, but that's still dependent on if, he has a marker, one of his chakra infused markers at the location of the person that's in the tree. So I do like it. It's a good thing when you show, not just tell. Anyway, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Mamushiki always felt strong to me. He didn't feel weak, but yeah, I get how some people can feel that way about Mamushi. Yeah. Code becoming good will make the Karma Trio a real thing. Boruto Byakugan, definitely love it. I love Sakura and Sarada moments they cooked with her this chapter. Yeah, definitely. That was a big plus for this chapter for me. Sakura and Sarada parallels. Yeah, true. Good. But I feel like I do prefer this iteration of the Sakura treatment. I mean, it's definitely a more healthy dynamic between Sarada and Boruto for obvious obvious reasons, and I think Sarada definitely has more. Should I say, is agency the right word for this case? Like, I feel like Ikemoto she's set up to be more proactive in the story and not just the Sakura's useless type of vibe, which I know is more so because of the anime, but you get what I mean. I hope Sakura plays a bigger role in the story anyway at this point. True. I'm kind of wondering who the patient was in another room, or if it's just some other random person in the village that probably got hurt with the Mamushi invasion. Sasuke get foreshadowed? Potentially, you never know. I don't know if Ikemoto's that daring just yet. Good to know that the balls have a quick expiration. It's like taking a fish out of water. True. Boruto, I think, could keep getting away from him might be his downfall. Yeah. I thought he was kind of antagonizing him too much there. Given the futures that he's heard, I thought he would have been more strategic with that. Even though at this point, with his, aura farming, probably he doesn't care. But given what something told him, I thought he would have been more strategic, to be honest. I think Ikemoto is trying to set up Sakura and Sarada versus Hidari while Boruto fights Code. If Code tries to take Sarada to the Shinju, I would actually like that. That would be a step in the right direction with the legacy character issue that the manga is going on about. It's Kubo in Kubo in the other room. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, when you said Kubo, I was just thinking about Bleach, to be honest, but I just remember the feudal chaperone. Yo, that's funny. That is actually funny. Why did I think? Well, obviously, it's obvious why I thought Bleach, but that is hilarious, to be honest. Hilarious. Alright, so all in all, this was a decent chapter. I think we can definitely consider this the start of a new arc, or do we consider this the end of our wrapping up the last arc? What do we consider this as? I think this is more starting of a new arc. So definitely solid. As per usual, you have to look at the nuances of things. The start isn't anything to really write home about. I mean, Inajin, etc., are okay. He's not gonna become Daredevil like we kind of anticipated. They are definitely setting things up. I like the nuance of, even though it's just one panel, I like the nuance of Ada looking at Kawaki and realizing, it's another point against her quote-unquote love for Kawaki. So obviously it's not just this chapter, it's something that I believe has been building up. And this is just another point on that, really and truly. What I was kind of, I don't want to say disappointed, but I was kind of hoping for, you know, all right. I think going forward, I'm hoping somebody talks to Damon because he is right now of the opinion that, yeah, I did good. I did good. Yeah, he did do good, real good, to be honest. I mean, his ability was instrumental in taking out Mamushi for good there. But I was hoping we would come out of this arc with Damon having some inspiration to not necessarily train, but I guess for lack of a better term, be more tactical, train or something, But I guess we'll have to wait till until he's actually faced with another challenge that he can't just brute force. So yeah. But it is what it is. But yeah, I definitely love the Ada moment here. Of course, again, I love Code coming back. It makes the story feel more dynamic right now. Because again, you guys know my concerns with the Shinju. We are down to literally Hidari and Jura. So with Mamushi, with Ryu, with Matsuri gone, this is the right time for Ko to be back and make things a bit more dynamic when it comes to onto the story, which I think is good. Especially since, having a villain that's not necessarily as strong as your heroes kind of leads to forcing him to be more tactical, more sneaking, which I think is good for engagement. So this is definitely a plus for the chapter as well. Of course, setting up things. Well, before I go back to the Thorn Soul Bulb, interested to see what's going to happen with Amado there. And it's interesting with the Byakugan. I'm sure like Boruto was like, yeah, like nigga, I can see you, to be honest. But I think the highlight of the chapter for me is definitely the Sakura and Sarada moment. And with how many panels that they actually had with Sakura in this chapter, which is a first, to be honest. I think what you guys were saying in terms of them setting up Sarada and Sakura versus Hidari, it could be that, to be honest. I definitely love it. Again, it's just, this is what I'm saying, right? Again, with the lack of the legacy characters or the legacy cast in the manga specifically, the story feels sterile. But what we see here is an acknowledgement of what came before. It makes the world feel like something that we've actually been invested 15 plus years in, right? Her just acknowledging her character, quote unquote, journey flaws in summary, Sasuke's character flaws and journey in summary, even referring to Itachi as well, I definitely think is a plus. It makes it feel, obviously this is fiction, but it feels real. For lack of better term. I hope you guys kind of get what I'm trying to convey to you guys here. It just makes it feel less sterile, if I can put it like that. I do love the character moments when it comes on to the two of them, as I said, Tro, Sumere, etc., etc. What I'm hoping is to have moments like this for Boruto's character as well, when it comes on to, outside of him just being Ninja Batman Sasuke, brooding and everything, I think Boruto definitely needs like moments like these, like going forward as a character. So yeah, I definitely think the chapter just feels like it has personality. Definitely a W chapter. And of course, to end things off, getting the show don't tell when it comes on to this Thorn Soul Bulbs and what's the real implication, the real threat of not actually getting back there in time. It's going to definitely influence, as I was pointing out earlier, how the characters strategize to save persons who have been, turned into Shinju. So that's going to really and truly play into, fight planning, fight choreography, making it more dynamic, which I'm always for. So that's another thing to consider as well. What I am disappointed in, I would expect Boruto to read between the lines, bro. Like, Yeah, you're stronger than cool, but don't antagonize them, man. You heard there's a potential future you could join. You should have tried to play on that, fam. Come on. I'm kind of disappointed in Boruto when it comes on to that. All right, so Erisanin, welcome to the stream. You think it's a 8.7 out of 10? Okay. I think, yeah, 8 to a 8.5 out of 10. Like, solid chapter. People have been saying that Sarada is starting to take a real prominent role like Kawaki in part one, being the other half of Boruto. What are your thoughts on that? I think it is long overdue because let's be honest. Outside of me pointing out the issue the manga has with like the legacy characters, right? I think it was even worse in part one with the fact that even a lot of the new generation characters weren't getting any spotlight. It was literally Boruto, Kawaki, Naruto, Sasuke, the antagonist, and yeah. So I think it is long overdue for Sarada to get the kind of treatment that she's getting now, to be honest. Because I think the frustrating thing is, and if any of you guys were in the 10-year anniversary Boruto stream that I did with like Mello, Kidomaki, etc., etc., I know that stream came off as really negative for a lot of it, but I mean it was I don't think anybody in there was like lying or just bashing on Boruto for bashing its sake. And the fact that we've had to wait this long to get this amount, at least this level of focus on Sarada, I think is a crying shame because I think when you compare Boruto to a lot of its, I guess, modern day competitors, contemporaries, whatever the word is, it's like it feels like things are executed when it comes on to balancing character development across the cast a bit better compared to Boruto, I would say. So I am definitely glad and appreciates the level of focus that Sarada is getting right now. Um, but I think it was to be expected if for no other reason than you have antagonists like Hidari in the picture. You kind of have to. I think you kind of have to force yourself to to develop Sarada and play off the dynamic with Sakura as well. And especially since we're pushing this whole love triangle thing when it comes on to our soap opera when it comes on to Sarada, Boruto, Sumire. So you kind of have to play off and kind of focus on her a bit more than usual, or at least compared to part one. Boruto lost a lot of its levity after Kodachi left. To be honest, personally, I don't even know. Like, I don't know like which writing era I prefer between Kodachi or no. To be to be honest, I'm kind of curious what things would be like if he continued. I know some person would probably say the pacing of Kodachi, but I guess if they had like done a meeting with him and say, "Hey, slow on the pacing," he could have adjusted it anyway. I do think Ikemoto has done a way better job with female characters. I love that female cast of the series and how important they are with the boys of the story. Yeah, I definitely like it. I think for me to fully agree with that, because I mean, between Sarada, Sumere, well, then again, Himawari, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right. Granted, it's not that Naruto didn't have like solid females as well, but I think the difference really and truly comes down to how should I put it? Like like I think the difference is more so the main female having a bit more agency and proactiveness, and even when it comes on to, because at the end of the day this is still a battle shonen, still having a lot of dynamic fights and being able to contribute to those fights. Because I would say Naruto has a lot of solid female characters, but it almost feels like you do like for example Tsunade, definitely one of the best examples, right? You had that very solid arc with flashback, with learning about Tsunade, the hunt for Tsunade arc when Jiraiya and Naruto were looking for her, and you get to empathize with her, get to know her more, and she's really developed as a character. But it feels like after you move past that initial arc, you get some spurts here and there, but it never really feels the same as a Naruto or a Sasuke driving the plot when it comes on to the female characters in Naruto, right? So I think that's the difference when it comes on to Boruto, at least Ikimoto and Sarada and Himawari and all these characters so far. It feels like I think it feels like the female characters, the female cast are definitely also equally contributing to it, more so from the main set of female characters. Hope I'm making sense with all of that. I do think I hope Shikada is one of the next focus characters along with Sarada in this arc. I like how it's not just Boruto and Kawaki driving the plot. Yeah, this is definitely an improvement over part 1, right? Again, even coming back from the end of last chapter, I would have never expected Inojin, a side character, to be the one. I mean, granted, it's still via Damon's ability, but at the end of the day, you gotta give Inojin his props. Like, a side character beating the main villain of the arc? And boy, like, I would never see that coming, bro. That would be like Naruto coming back to fight Pain and no knocks against maybe Tenten would be an extreme example, but like Sai coming back and Sai beats Pain. Like, what? Yo, that would be crazy, honestly. Yeah, man, Inogen. But this is the thing, though. I'm kind of hoping that they don't it's not like a one-hit wonder type of thing. I hope Inogen has a recurring time to shine throughout the story going forward. Next arc, I think definitely has to be very Sarada, Shikadai. Yeah, Sarada, Shikadai, and Chocho. I think those three should get like some decent spotlight. Well, but of course, balancing things with other characters at the end of the day. Of course, Jura is quote unquote end boss, but obviously, if we have Hidari, is obviously going to be the next Shinju up next if we don't make more Shinjus out of nowhere, which is obviously a possibility. But Hidari will be next, and if one of the potential futures we have Code kidnapping Sarada to bring to Hidari, obviously Sarada is going to be a big thing in that. And then we can definitely play off that with Chocho. We have Chocho having a nice, personal comedic moment with Sarada and Sumire in this chapter. I'm hoping that kind of motivates Chocho to do something. And then, in a Shikacho, hopefully Shikadai feels like he's been left behind. And between the whole conflicts of, Boruto, him not trusting Boruto, I'm hoping that kind of forces those three to be, in the spotlight for next chapter. And this is the thing, because, again, power scaling. We don't have to be a case where it has to be a one-on-one. It can be a team effort. Definitely can be a team effort where you can balance things with Boruto and Kawaki. So, yeah. Honestly, that's where I feel Kacha came up short. It's because he really only focused on 4 characters and not the whole cast. That's why I like Ikimoto Inspirational Drive. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. But I'm wondering if like Kodachi's decision to like focus on a small set of characters for part 1 is, I don't know if it's because of maybe the behind the scenes plan to they wanted to end it by a certain point, and maybe that plan has changed. But obviously that plan has changed from, the old interview of wanting Boruto to be probably about 28 volumes. Obviously that's changed. So I'm wondering if that was the reason. Delta might be there too, who knows? True. Oh yeah, and there's Delta. Honestly, I think Sarada being kidnapped is must have bring the fight to the Shinju Haida for all hell to break loose and start in those final battles. That could be the case. That could be the case. I'm thinking if the battles are brought to the hideout, right? You have Boruto, we have Kawaki, we have Kud in one location, the 3 karmas. I would imagine something is going to, all hell is going to break loose for real. Maybe in that case, some way, somehow, the Ten Tails Jura gets desperate, probably absorbs code, probably some weird pseudo divine tree or something like that. Something. I think at that point, that's the point where we're going to transition to the next set of antagonists, more than likely. I need that vibes of Chocho fighting Shinju back in the True exams. Oh, Shinji back in the True exams where it felt like she was serious. I do like the comedic moments. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. But again, I think one of the biggest things is you have to again while I think there was a nice excuse for the last arc for why certain characters could participate, you're not gonna necessarily have that excuse going forward. So if I'm seeing Chocho fight Hidari again, which narratively speaking the story wants me to believe again that Shinju are beyond Jigen, you have to show me in a believable way how Chocho is able to compete. Chocho, Shikadai, Inojin, etc., etc. Code are gonna be used to awaken Sarada EMS, potentially speaking, potentially, because I am kind of expecting Hidari not to necessarily betray is a strong word, but I think he's going to develop as his own character for the most part, and it'll be through that we'll have probably Hidari helping out Sarada with her whole eyesight problem. Probably he'll realize in the fight that, oh, your eyes aren't as good as they were before, and then he'll, similar to like how Mamushi instinctively drew from the knowledge of Bug, he'll probably draw from Sasuke's knowledge, and then we'll probably have something from there, maybe, because I know it might be a stretch, but at the end of the day, we do see that as time goes on, as the various Shinju are experiencing different emotions and experiences, Juro himself is kind of developing through them, it seems. I don't remember if you guys were seeing, I think it was when Matsuri was crying her eyes out to Konohamaru, Juro shed a tear as well. So I would imagine the other Shinju are emotionally, well, they're still connected to the Ten Tails. They're one entity but distinct as well. So I think Juro is developing, and I wouldn't be surprised if that extends to, say, Hidari. So more than likely, it's not going to be a black and white fight. Obviously, these are not black and white, like straight up villains. There's nuance to them and the characters. So any card can play when it comes on to what they'll do and how they'll interact with their quote unquote targets, right? So it comes down to that. I forgot, but did Amado tell Kawak to go to him in this chapter? Yeah, Amado said to come talk to him, so I'm interested to see how that's going to go. Amado always scheming, so at least that's what us the readers always think. Yo! Finally, when Kawaki gets his 3 to 4 pounds of screen time in this chapter. Hey, it is what it is. I low-key have a bad feeling that after Hidari's beats, that Momoshiki will take over Boruto's body to run out Sasuke time clock for him to die. Yeah, he's probably still holding a Rinnegan grudge for all the switching. Probably. Or maybe, let's see. What if we get a plot twist of Sokka turning into a Shinju and they have Sarada fight her? Yeah. That does sound interesting. Sarada fighting both her parents could be a nice way to represent, the new generation surpasses the last. Could be, but I mean, you already have that with Hidari. I don't know how I feel about that just yet. It depends on if we get more and more Sakura as the chapters go on. As it stands right now, even though this was a solid chapter in terms of the amount of panel time that Sakura got, I'm still not really convinced just yet that Ikemoto will be featuring her a lot. So let's wait and see for that. And Galaxy, you're saying, or maybe because Hidari has Sasuke's track, you can still fuse track of his and Sara's because that's all Enos really is. Yeah, I was kind of throwing around that idea in the in a Sarada video I did. One second. Yeah, I think it was this last recorded video that I did right here. I was actually talking about some ways that they could actually help with the whole Mangekyo Sharingan blindness. So the whole idea of Hidari also giving his, well, by extension Chakra, his eyes to Sarada. I think I did mention that as well in that video. Maybe you think we'll get more Shinju? That's a good question. um right now I'm leaning more towards no. Because reason being, again, despite two Blue Vortex doing a better job of juggling more characters versus part one, I think having more Shinju would kind of force Ikimoto to kind of juggle a lot more characters than he probably wants to at the moment. I'm still of the opinion that right now, or even for the longest while, the manga right now, not that he's rushing it, but I believe Ikimoto just wants the manga, and this is just my subjective opinion. This is not fact, but I feel like he just wants the manga to act as a blueprint when it comes on to the Boruto story. So he'll go as fast as he can without compromising things. But what I think will happen is that going into whenever the anime comes back, which I think it will, the mode of production will fix the issues I had with the a lot of the Boruto franchise to date. I think they will probably plan out things using the blueprint of the manga, definitely, of course, obviously, but include a lot more of what you guys would probably suggest. So maybe we might not get Shinju here, but we get them in the anime, and when we get them in the anime, you can get, you know, other characters getting involved, etc., etc. So it's kind of like the anime will be like the quote unquote full final version of the story. What do you think of the cover of this chapter? I think the cover is clean. Quote didn't get a big L in this chapter like like I thought he was going to, but I think it's clean, to be honest. Apart from the lips, the lips though. Why, I don't know why Ikimoto has lips looking like that. I think that's the only gripe I have. But I do love, of course, the black, the purple, the the Dracula, the vampire look. Look at, you know. I do like that with Code. Um, so yeah, pretty much. I just think it's solid. Loki, the only problem with Sarada getting an EMS is that Ohirume is so broken, and if she can spam that, I don't know how you beat her, and she's only been half power since we still have one more ability. Um, yeah, you could definitely spam that. Of course, it still is limited to, you know, what she what enters her eye line of sight, or, you know, field of vision, and her chakra reserves. So those are still, even though she won't be able to go blind anymore, those are still two, you know, big points. Granted, getting the EMS, obviously, I would imagine your chakra pool does go up, but again, that's the thing. But I can see, yeah, the cause of concern, right? When you have this broken ability, but like being put into situations like, oh, she should be able to like beat everybody, no, but not necessarily. It's kind of like, you know, oh, Boruto has Uzuhiko, he can beat anybody. But here comes Jura. One second. Here comes Professor Jura. Oh, you know, you know, I can get rid of the effects of Uzuhiko using science or whatever I do. Plot convenience. You know, like something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if like Sarada uses Ohirume on Jura, and Jura's like, you know, given the natural energy I've absorbed from this planet, I do now understand gravity, the concept, the principles. I can negate the effects, you know, or something like that. Like, you know, some foolishness like that, to be honest. Last thing I was reading that happened a while ago. Yeah, true. And yeah, true, the purple looks tough. The contrast between the purple, whites, and black. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. It is perfect. Oh my god. I feel like this back over to here. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. I feel like the next last scene kind of cut off the shot here so a bit, yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a bit too small. It's alright, whatever. Honestly, a Boruto, Uzahiko, and Sarada or Hirume combo Loki would be crazy. Yeah, true, true, true. Probably if he can somehow infuse Uzahiko into the gravity orbs. So even like you're getting disoriented and sucked in at the same time or something. 34 chapters at 2 Blue Vortex. I don't know how we got here so fast. Yeah, 34. That's 34. That's almost or 2 chapters shy of 3 years. Which is crazy for real, still. When you really think about it. But I think it's a good spot to be. I never, like I was kind of saying in the 10th anniversary stream, I would never expect that Boruto would be going on for this long. Back when we got like Boruto Naruto the movie, I thought it would have been a one on them with Boruto Naruto the movie, and then that would be it. Maybe get some series about characters in the past, maybe if we were lucky, but yeah. this is crazy. Again, if I'm comparing it to Attack on Titan, I think we would be 8 chapters short of 2 seasons worth of content, because I think Attack on Titan season 2 goes up to chapter 42 of the AOT manga. So where are we? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7 chapters. I mean, there's a good chance the anime might start next year, maybe for its 10th anniversary. I think it would be fitting. And we still have one more arc to do pre-time skip. Yeah, they do have a lot to adapt, but again, they have to, in my honest opinion, they need to do the proper planning to kind of reconcile the differences between the anime and the manga, if I'm being honest. And they need to like properly plan it, to be honest. So for example, like an arc like this, right, that just finished with, Mamushi, how are we going to factor in characters like Iwabe, Denki, Samurai Girl, etc., etc.? How are we going to factor in all those characters and actually get us to actually care about them at the end of the day? Like, I think that needs to be resolved, because that's, to me personally, part of the problem when it comes on to, one of the problems when it comes on to the Boruto franchise. From the anime side, you have a bunch of characters that they're cool, they have potential, but I don't really, at the end of the day, I don't really care about them in the grand scheme of things. I'm yet to have like a level of emotional investment or care or a Rock Lee versus Gara moment when it comes on to like one of those side characters from the anime. It's literally, legitimately whatever. So if the anime is coming back next year, I think if you can factor in those characters in a meaningful way, tie them into a rewrite of a lot of these manga arcs, then that would be nice. Or you could kill them off, turn them into Shinju. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if we're going for this whole Boruto is going to be like very dark, why don't not just kill them off? But yeah, I could definitely see something to see me now. I could definitely see Jump Festa later in the year having a Boruto anime announcement. Like, I think my predictions over the last 2 years was, 2027. Probably ideally our best case scenario again is going to be 10 years of the anime. I think would make sense. Bleach is ending this year. Even though there's more content in the universe for them to adapt to animated format, I wouldn't be surprised if Studio Perio actually takes a break from Bleach for a little bit. Black Clover is also coming out. I don't know. I would love to assume that teams are being freed up to work on Boruto. So there is definitely that. Is either that or you get the four special Naruto episodes on Boruto's 10th anniversary, and then at the end of those episodes you have a time back to the Boruto anime, maybe. The TBV anime might have the strongest start to an anime for a long time now. Yeah, but TBV I don't think we'll get that till 2028, to be honest. It's gonna be another wait. They just need to commit to making the anime its own speedster continuity and actually make changes to the story, not big change, but something that stands out. No, like to me, like I don't think you see the thing. You see the thing when it comes down to the anime is kind of like when it comes down to adapting the manga arcs to the anime. I think the anime generally does a good job of doing like quality of life improvements to it. But what I'm saying is like when it comes on to the anime continuity in general, like the other anime exclusive elements and factors, how do you incorporate them into a potential rewrite to make it matter and make everything line up? How do you reconcile, Iwabe, Denki, all these side characters, how do you factor them into these arcs that you don't see them in the manga, obviously, and make it make sense? How do you make us care about these characters, etc, etc, and is there even space for us to care about these characters? Really and truly, all things considered. So that's all I'm saying. Or do we just focus on probably killing them off in, which would be crazy, in some interesting ways? So it'll be at 38, 39. No, I think by December will be further, man. We're at 34 now. So June, July, August, September, October. By October it'll be by 39, provided we don't take any breaks. How do you think part 1 should be concluded in the anime? A season, movie, and OVA? I don't know if I don't. I'm kind of iffy on that. I think a season would be good. Or they could do like what a lot of these other shows are doing. Like you could do it kind of like how Bleach's first 2 or 3 episodes will be in theaters for this final season. Yeah, you could do it seasonal and then like compile 3 episodes to show in the theaters or so. Oh, Naruto is like the disappearance of Naruto or something like that. I should think they should take a break on Bleach, and because we've had it for 3 years now. Yeah, they can definitely take a break. Especially since there's a lot of content after the 1,000-Year Blood War they can do. Kubo still needs to, and the right Kubo this time still needs to give us more chapters on the Hell arc. So can take a break, maybe like a 2 years, give that time to build up. Hopefully the anime done, Kubo will have time. So yeah. They ended Boruto in such a dumb place, honestly. After Shiki was defeated, they should have just animated all the Boruto novels because they have backed themselves into a corner on how we start again. Yeah, next year will be the 10th anniversary of the Boruto anime, so we might get some announcements of the anime returning. Yeah, I feel so. Yeah, yeah, Galaxy. Because we ended basically after, Boruto died, came back to life, etc, etc. But I think it's the cultural shift. And when I say culture, I mean like the production culture. Boruto feels like the last, literally the last anime that has been doing the long-running weekly formats. When it really and truly should have transitioned to seasonal. And yeah, I know if you don't have a good production schedule, even if you're seasonal, you can still come out to shit in terms of like quality. But I think it should have been seasonal a long time ago, to be honest. Should have been seasonal a long time ago. Invincible, yeah, man. If I've been keeping up with Invincible, I should have like a scene here in OBS with like the Invincible title card, of course. Yeah, man. Not a bad season. Not a bad season of Invincible at all. I still need to actually watch the final episode of The Boys, which and I see Moist Critical posting that the finale was bad, so I need to actually see that for myself. But yeah, and speaking of Invincible, I think Invincible might have, if I'm predicting. I mean, I haven't read the comic myself, so I've just watched like YouTube shorts and videos here on the comics here and there. But based on what I see, I would predict Invincible in terms of the adaptation on Amazon Prime might have maybe 3 more seasons worth of content. So Invincible, I think, will be here for a while. Mr. Thrag himself with the hairline. The cleanest feed. Well, I haven't actually watched any reviews. I only saw like Moist Critical's thumbnail and title for it, but I haven't actually watched any reviews when it comes on to the finale of The Boys. Which, personally, I was kind of hoping that it would be like an extra long episode, maybe 2 hours, because it feels like there's so much to wrap up with The Boys, to wrap up in, even if they had an additional half an hour to the episode. It just feels like there's too much to wrap up. So yeah, Invincible is now halfway adapted. Yeah, that's well, I guess I'm right on the money then, that Invincible could definitely go for about 3 more seasons. So then it's gonna be a crazy year for real. Yeah, true. Because thinking about 2028, right? Is that we're getting Moro for Dragon Ball Super at the end of 2027, or is that 2028? I think it's next year though. Might be. But either way, we'll have either some form of Dragon Ball, Boruto, 2 Blue Vortex, more than likely. Of course, more Invincible. Is there anything coming out that I'm really looking forward to anime wise? Who knows? Maybe One Piece manga wise too is going to be at some crazy point. So there's that too. Did you see a Boruto spin-off? Oh, Millennium saying The Boys is interesting. Okay, I'll see when I'm done with this stream. Do you see a Boruto spin-off? I couldn't imagine it, but knowing how much money the Naruto franchise makes, I could see them doing that. Like, alright. I'm a firm believer, right? You have a bad milking of the franchise and you have good milking of the franchise. Like you can milk stories out of a franchise, but the stories can be qualitative all the same. Like, I think for me personally, I've received Boruto from a objective standpoint better than modern Dragon Ball. So modern Naruto versus modern Dragon Ball. I think when it comes on to modern Dragon Ball, yeah, like to a heavy degree, that was like bad milking of the franchise. Cause thinking back on it, like, man, I think I remember when Resurrection F came out in 2015, which, God, I feel old. Jeez. But yeah, I remember Resurrection came in 2015, and in hindsight, looking back at it, no, it wasn't long after that Super was announced. I'm like, I mean, I was excited for it. But looking back at it, no, that was a dumb move. I mean, there is a reason they have to be doing these remasters of Dragon Ball Super, right? No. Crazy work. Crazy work. And then what happens is that, like, the studios start putting out these additional content and yada yada, and like, as longtime fans are happy for it, but then like you're looking at this quality and say, yo, no man, they could have done this and this, and then you'll be like, I'm no writer, but like I feel like I could have done better, to be honest. So hence why, like, me saying this is kind of part of the reason, just going back to the 10th anniversary stream that we did last week before Mother's Day. It's kind of part of the reason why that stream sounded, at least the latter half of it, was like really negative sounding, because I really think they kind of just rushed into the whole Boruto era. Melo was saying in that stream that, yo, we could have had some time to breathe, kind of transition into it by having like a the last era Naruto miniseries. I would be good with that. I think that would have been great. Um, they'll get the resurrection art right this time. I promise. This time I promise. And it's kind of hard. Who knows? Who knows? There's still things outside the animation quality of that art that's still questionable power scaling wise. Unless I would like them to go back to the Naruto last era of stories because the big appearance, even though I know that's not that long after. Yeah, and funny enough, I was thinking back on it like since like coming home from work today in terms of even the start of the Boruto era, like the Boruto and Naruto movie section of things, and how just the optics of how things look with Naruto and struggling to balance work and family life, right? And I think if they had done like the last era miniseries, not that I don't think that movie was received good, but I feel like a lot of people didn't receive that narrative of Naruto being a quote unquote, bad dad or not having time for his family. I don't think a lot of persons really receive that like well, considering where Naruto is coming from as a character. I think a lot of persons expected him to be like really around for his family and all of that, etc., etc. So even though I know what they were going for with that narrative in the Boruto movie, to a certain degree, it felt a bit contrived, forced. But I think if you had like a last era miniseries where you see Naruto like really spending a lot of time with his family, but probably the requirements of say the feudal lord, the people he's meeting with and stuff kind of start forcing him to slowly transition into not being able to spend as much time with Boruto as he would want. Like probably is a scene like Naruto, no shadow clones at the meeting. You need to be here yourself. And then, he kind of slowly transition into him not being able to spend time with his family. Naruto kind of trying to make peace with, the trauma he's had as an orphan and wanting to be there with his family, but has to gradually transition into his role as, Hokage. I think the optics of that would have looked better to me and others. I don't know if I'm making sense here. You can let me know. It makes sense and doesn't make sense. Naruto never had parental guidance. I can see him unintentionally being anything, but also vice versa. Yeah, I'm saying it's kind of like a 50-50 thing where I can see what they're going for. It makes sense, but on the flip side, it also doesn't make sense. So, but I think like the way I'm describing it with like a slow transition from the last era, seeing him kind of get into the requirements and what's people require of him as a figurehead, like the leader of his village, and transitioning. I think that would have been a bit easier to digest. There's so much novel content from the Naruto universe that the studio could use it. It's insane. So many stories that they could have adapted. That's why I get a 3 tomorrow. Yeah, that's the thing as well, because this is the next thing. When Naruto ended, the whole Naruto New Era project they were promoting and all these novels coming out and etc., etc., I thought they would have taken their time to adapt these novels before transitioning full blown into Boruto. This is kind of like what I'm saying with the idea I was proposing with the whole Naruto 99 top 99 that we had a few years back, where they could have definitely had a pipeline of Naruto projects that are of quality, because you could have the top 99 every year, take out the winner of the previous year potentially, or keep them in whatever. Kishimoto gets to do a manga on the winner without no pressure. The studio can do OVAs on these winners. You just make sure you have somebody that's working with Kishimoto in case he's forgetting any plot beats like timeline or Naruto history assistant to make sure, oh, Kishimoto, you can't do that kind of contradicts that, and you kind of work on a pipeline of top 99 manga, anime anime or OVA adaptations of these, and you don't necessarily have to like get into Boruto just yet. You can still have Boruto in the background being worked on, and you can make it qualitative. I promise you, if they had done it this way, the anime would probably not have started where it started, to be honest, because the manga would have had time to build up, etc., etc. You'd probably have definitely a slightly different Boruto story if they had done it that way. Mm. But like Eminem said, he never really had parental guidance from his dad and mom. He didn't really know how to connect with Boruto, and himself says that he honestly could just do OVAs on the top 20 or 20 like, each year for each character. On top 10 or 20, like do an OVA of each year for each character depending on the spot they landed. Yeah, that's true. They could do that too. The important thing is that they have a pipeline to do content and make money. That's really and truly what it comes down to. Is what I'm suggesting. Balancing milking it, but milking it in a good way. Um yeah, it's as I'm saying, Simino as well. Really and truly, yeah, it's a two-edged sword. Or it's 50-50 where yeah, you can make the argument that he never had parental guidance, etc. etc. But I think the optics of it on the flip side just look away. And you come from reading the manga, the last Naruto movie, and then into Boruto Naruto the movie. So it's just like you just dropped into Naruto being a parent not spending damage. It just so in a way, comes off contrived. But I definitely get what you're saying. Definitely get what you're saying. But I still think the idea of making a slightly slow transition from a last era miniseries for Naruto's character, spending a lot of time with his family, to transitioning to not spending a lot of time with his family, I think that would have been an easier thing to digest, so to speak. And you could probably have Naruto kind of contend with like, oh shit, I'm unintentionally making my children go through what I went through. It's not necessarily the same because of the same reasons. Like I didn't die or anything, but kind of just play with that to nuance. Not over no like super long 20 episode thing, but again, obviously this would be like a mini series. So could be like a Dragon Ball Daima style mini series, 20 to 30 episodes. I think would be nice for like the last era. But I know, of course, they did try to adapt some of the novels in the end of Naruto Shippuden, so probably they're saying, yeah, we don't want to go back to that. Probably that is the part of the reason. Like I was concerned, Modulo and Fortnite to be good milk and others. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I haven't read Modulo. It's just through my brother, the Manga Menace. I'm definitely getting his name wrong, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's a big, very popular JJK content creator. Does a lot of JJK shorts explaining stuff. Shout out to him. But yeah, I pretty much between him and other JJK creators, I've kind of experienced Modulo through shorts, to be honest. And it just seems like it's good things all around when it comes on to the characters. Because I think as much as, not everything is about power and power scaling and fighting, but again, these are battle shonens at the end of the day. And then obviously, I think based on what I've seen and heard so far, Modulo does a great job of respecting the journey or the growth Yuji would have went on from original JJK to, later on. Like, yo, that's to be expected. But I think when it comes on to like Boruto, it's like, yeah, Naruto and Sasuke are strong, but it kind of devolves into being very questionable. That's why you have a lot of people like, oh no, Naruto and Sasuke are like way stronger than they were back then, and all these 1,000,001 videos trying to justify. And I'm not saying they're not stronger than they were in the war. I'm not saying that, but I'm just painting the lay of the land of what the community has been over these last 10 to 11 years, where you have to be justifying everything when it comes on to Naruto and Sasuke. Oh no, it's XYZ. Oh no, the opponents are so much stronger and yada yada yada. But I feel like like the fact that it's so questionable kind of calls into consideration the writing when it comes on to respecting and acknowledging all the abilities that they've gotten throughout from OG Naruto till now. A lot of times it just seems like, for example, Sasuke's, oh shit, already. Let me use my taxi service eye. Type of vibe. And it just feels so limited in terms of the creativity of their abilities and everything. It just feels like, Modulo did a better job of respecting the growth of X character over time versus Boruto. So that's the next thing. So yeah, that's part of the reason why I would say, for at least in Madulo's case that I know about, of them kind of milking it good, not too long, and just respecting what came before. The last movie was good to me. I don't know why people. Um, yeah, I enjoyed the last. I just think I feel like I would enjoy it more if it was developed later on. Just little nitpicks in terms of, I would say, because Naruto doesn't use any like six parts abilities in the movie, which is funny. I wonder if they did the movie today if they would include that. But yeah. Also, Naruto should have adapted chapter 7. I have no idea why they completely skipped that before. Sorry, Morty, it was the correct. Yeah, that was odd to me too. I mean, they did kind of try to do it in a way, kind of in the Boruto anime, but yeah, they didn't. They really and truly didn't really adapt chapter chapter 700 at all, did they? Which was weird. And they just started Boruto literally the next week, which is again the whole rushing issue. Bad milking, as I would put it. So the hell am I usually stocks? To be fair, most of that stems from having a new MC that isn't Naruto. To me, Naruto doesn't clearly show how much strong they are now, other than how they were in Shippuden. Um, I feel like you can still have a new MC and still respect what came before. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying, considering the narrative when it comes on, so a lot of the characters they're up against, obviously, like on paper, they are stronger. I'm never going to say they aren't stronger, all things considered. But I think how it's shown, it's just it's it doesn't they don't seem more impressive. That's what I'm saying. It's very questionable. Hence why when it comes on to the community, there's so many videos discussing or talking about, oh, are Naruto and Sasuke weaker than they were before? Or do they still have six parts powers? It's either things from a writing perspective or how they're shown on screen is either it's too ambiguous or it lacks creativity or both. And you kind of have to fall back on the narrative of, oh, Ishiki and Momoshiki and etc. are stronger than Kaguya, so obviously Naruto and Sasuke must be stronger. You kind of have to fall back on the narrative of what they're saying. But from a creativity standpoint, an ambiguity standpoint, I can't really blame persons for it just feels like they're not as respected as they should be from a writing standpoint. They don't show nobody had a problem with that. Yeah, I'm saying that's that. The Cell arc, or just even the Cell Saga Android arc, whatever. I think that's another solid example because you had the previous generation. Everybody made substantial gains, and the new generation made even more gains at the same time. And I didn't feel like, I guess depending on your definition of disrespect, but I didn't feel like Goku or Vegeta were necessarily disrespected. It still felt balanced. Nobody had a complaint, right? I promise you, if you were to rewrite Boruto with Naruto and Sasuke having a more creative showing of the abilities that that they have, I'm pretty sure persons wouldn't really complain as much, really and truly. Like, and I said it before, for argument's sake, I'm not expecting Naruto and Sasuke to beat Jigen. The narrative says Jigen is above them, so I'm not expecting, but I'm expecting some creative use of abilities, like, oh, let me flash with Jigen with my sword. As the master of a Rinnegan, maybe I should let some chakra arms come out and try to grab him and something, kind of a little bit of almighty push, use just the right amount of chakra, create some space, some distance, tactically use the abilities with just the right amount of chakra, little stuff like that. I think you would appreciate it more in the grand scheme of things. Or Naruto versus Delta. It kind of gets it kind of evolves into the even just generally speaking, outside of that fight, but it kind of evolves into the Super Saiyan Blue effect from the Dragon Ball Super anime. Oh, new opponent, let me go 6-pack Sage Mori Kurama. Oh, I need to go shopping, let me go 6-pack, you know? Kind of build up to it, do the Goku treatment. Let's kind of go Sage mode first, or even if I'm using 6-pack stuff, let me, I don't know, use Boil Release, let me Kaioken-esque, you know? Just little stuff like that. Respect it, respect these characters from a creative standpoint based on what we know they have. That's all I'm saying. You can still keep the same narrative of Jigen, these characters being on par with them, but just be more creative with it. That's all I'm saying, you know? I honestly couldn't blame someone for thinking Ninja War, Naruto, and Sasuke are stronger than their adult versions based on what we see. That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, Naruto's whole Kitty Mortar seemed like he just clones and are saying exactly, and Sasuke is just Shidori and taxi service. Also, I think the Manga show did more battles instead of statements because I think people just like to visually more of the post and then hear in character. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the exact point what I'm saying, you know, because the creativity is lacking. And it's so ambiguous. Because of that, I think it's very ambiguous if they're really stronger. So you have to kind of fall back on, oh, Jigen is stronger than Naruto. Oh no. Oh. That type of vibe. And it just doesn't feel convinced. And I think this is the same thing that kind of extends to the whole Momoshiki versus Kaguya like debates, really and truly, where you kind of have to fall back on the narrative. But like when you look at it, you're like, Naruto and Sasuke don't look as impressive as they did before. Momoshiki's strong, yeah, but not really look impressive either. So it's like, so everything kind of gets to this like, the story's telling me this, but I'm feeling this type of vibe, you know. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, the Dragon Ball Z Power Showcase because it doesn't work for Naruto. Yeah. But Naruto, you just need to respect the characters throughout the creativity and good. Like if you were to do like you see, this is why when you compare, say, the manga version of Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki versus the anime, like even Sasuke just using Chibaku Tensei in the anime was like a major thing for me. I'm like, yo, this man can use other Rinnegan abilities? And you think this man would absorb chakra or something, bro? Like, you can't convince me that Sasuke is a master of the Rinnegan. You can't convince me. Trust me. So that's all I'm saying, really and truly. So yeah. But yeah, let me just even get back to the chapter for a bit. So this was a solid chapter, easily 8 out of 10. Again, I don't want anybody to, especially coming from the 10th anniversary live stream, I don't want you guys to think that like I hate Boruto or I'm pretending to like it or anything like that. I genuinely like it, but it definitely has a lot of flaws or things that are missing from really pushing it to another level. And this is not to say, I genuinely believe when the anime comes back, especially to Blue Vortex, the anime community in general will give it another shot and will generally like it. But if the issues remain, the facts are just the facts. There are still things that are missing from really pushing this to another level. Because at the end of the day, as we were saying in that stream, even with 10 years, I don't think anybody can confidently say that Boruto can stand on its own from a real world marketing perspective or push. Anything Boruto comes out now, more than likely the studio is still going to attach the Naruto name to it. So I still think this side of the franchise still has work to do, which is kind of disappointing because if we're comparing apples to apples from a timeline perspective, 10 years into Naruto's run, publication-wise, manga-wise, we were in the Pain arc. And I'm sure back in 2009, everybody was like, yo, Naruto. If you're not Naruto, Bleach, or One Piece, but Naruto was definitely a big talk of the town. And while obviously Boruto is definitely getting a lot of readership, if I'm at least basing it on, the numbers on Manga Plus, it's just not the same as Naruto. But It is what it is. My thing with Naruto and Sasuke is that they tend to like spamming the same jutsu in Shippuden. Yeah, yeah. There's no variety. Damon is the most DBC style character of Boruto, just using his brute force since he doesn't really use any ninjutsu. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think when it comes on to the themes, you know, old gen versus new gen, Age of the Shinobi is over. I think that's fine to have characters that have that whole DBZ style S type of fighting. The contrast between those type of characters and the actual ninja in the series will make for interesting choreography and fights, so I don't mind. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have for this one. Millennium, yo, shout out to Millennium again. Respect for the pseudo the pseudo super chats for the most part. I'll have to use Streamlabs for anybody else that's interested in tipping going forward, since until if and when I get back into the YouTube partner program. But shout out to you again, Millennium. Of course, Galaxy Heat, See Me Now. Who else was here again? Everybody else that stopped by. Probably just couldn't bother to type in the chat, but respect for coming out. This has been a pretty solid stream. I think that's been probably like my best stream in a little while, to be honest, in terms of turnout. Yeah, Damon does have Shibai cells. I don't know. I don't know if he'll do like a cell type of arc where Ada and Damon are absorbed to create the perfect being. So yeah. But yeah, man, respect for coming out, guys. Of course, today's the 20th. You know my drill on this channel for next week. I think maybe next week. Maybe next week, Wednesday. I might do the end of month subscriber stream. So definitely can come out, we chill, talk, have a drink. No pressure. I might do Wednesday because I might be out and about for Thursday night, Friday and Saturday. Oh, well, then there's always Sunday as well. Okay, so if it's not next week Wednesday, it'll be next week Sunday for the end of month subscriber stream. So definitely come out, look for that. So there's that. Is it time to give Sarada Shibai cells? I mean, maybe. It'd be an option to fix her eyesight. Or she can get glasses like these, dog. Yo, ridiculous. But yo, guys, respect for coming out. And if you actually get some food and actually watch The Boys, the finale, the mid finale, I would say. And yeah. So shout out to you guys again, and I will see you in the next one.